And I think that Nate was a little flattered, thinking that it's just going to be here and gone. But then when she really started to use it and she made all that money, and let's just say the WWE made all that money on that merchandise, Flair was expecting a kickback.
Speaking of not quitting, this person was released from the WWE and he made his debut. So it's a good segue to the bro my God moment, which is the limitless one, Keith Lee making a debut in AEW. There's my Keith Lee promo there. Listen, so he did a little subtle thing. I don't know if y'all noticed this, but he did a little subtle thing. He went against a private party, Isaiah Cassidy, I believe his name is. He did a little subtle thing. So he had his little kind of over hoodie on, and he like slowly zipped it down and slowly opened it up, and he had no singlet, no tank top on. And when he did that, I'm like, I bet you that was a short type of mild sliding rib, when it comes to WWE, because allegedly they made him cover up his top half with the singlet. Vince, what do you think about Keith Lee's AEW debut?
Bro, listen, I'm very happy for Keith Lee. I don't think they did him right in WWE, bro. I know he was overused in NXT. I saw every performance on WWE, and it seemed like they just had the guy in nowhere land. Here's the thing I'm concerned about, Chris. We just talked about it on the other show. Bro, Tony Khan is getting in a habit of doing pop, this guy this week, this guy next week, pop a number, this, pop. And I said this on social media, bro. It's not who you bring in, it's how you use them. It's what you do with them once they're there. So I really hope he does Keith Lee right and just uses him the correct way.
Paige, what do you think about that?
Well, first of all, I've always really liked him. Watch out, know him personally, but I feel like I do because he reminds me of another big guy. He did a little bit of this last night, and he's got a lot. If Dusty came up with this group of guys, he'd have been flying around just like Keith Lee does, because Dusty was an unbelievable athlete, and I see a lot of Dusty in him, and he's making it his own. He's not stealing anything; he's just making it his own. I love the big man. I thought, as much as he was over in NXT, I thought, okay, this is a big son bitch you can bring up there and turn it inside out. So they never used him, and for them to let him go, and the crowd, when NXT started, they were doing better pay-per-views, I thought, with the
takeovers.
They were doing what was that takeovers. The takeovers, I like watching them even better than I was watching WWE do their stuff. And then W came around, like that was their crowd, because they had a really vocal crowd. And, that's where that whole war started, but never really got grounds. And AEW, taking guys like Adam Cole and, and all the guys that they've taken over, and the guys that they've taken from not just NXT, but from WWE, like, Bryan Danielson. I mean, of all guys, to me, he's the best in the world right now, from A to Z. Like, it's really crazy to me. It's like, we'll see what with the booking, and like Vince said, because he's so right, it's not who comes over, it's what you do with them. Like when Lex Luger came over on the Monday Night Wars, he was supposed to be on TV on Monday Night Raw. and he just didn't show. And
Yeah.
if you knew, like, I knew Bischoff was not a Lex Luger fan. Sting was the one who made that happen, and Lex came in for a song. Like, he did not get that big contract till after he had, like, done a couple of things, and then Lex got a sweet contract. But what did you do with Lex? You put him right with Hogan, and you put the freaking crap on him. You know, it was like, what? You know, there were so many things that happened with Nitro that were really big things. When Scott and Kev came over, they beat up everybody. Like, WWE never would have done that. They wanted to beat us down. Bischoff wanted to pick them up and beat us down. You know, that's why Sting went to the rafters. It was the best thing ever happened to him. So, you know, Keith did a hell of a job. That young man out there, Isaiah, he's a hell of a worker. That Beal that he threw, that was an Andre the Giant Beal.
That was a great sell.
It was amazing. The kids really, both of those kids are really talented. But you go out there with the big man, you treat him like Goldberg in his prime. And that's what they did. So,
yeah, I agree. I think that's what Isaiah did. I think he was the man for the job to make Keith Lee look dominant. I think he was the guy. That was a good choice for that, because Isaiah made him look like like an amazing Goliath is what he made him look like. Okay, so this is coming from someone who is a Keith Lee fan. I like Keith Lee. I've told Vince many times on our shows. I've put Keith Lee over to Vince many, many times on our show. I was a huge Keith Lee fan in NXT. I've interviewed him before. Super nice guy. Have so many good things to say about Keith Lee. The way that the WWE brought him up to the main roster was just a total wash. It was a terrible idea. You didn't bring him in feeling like a big guy. He kind of got into the Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre feud as like a third wheel, and it was bad timing. And at that time, like just a little bit before then, he was double champion. He was the NXT champion and the North American champion. So clearly Triple H and company saw like insurmountable heights when it came to Keith Lee. When it comes to his NXT debut, here's my issue with what I saw. Here's my issue with his NXT debut. I wish that Khan wouldn't have announced it of this big old, huge, life-changing, life-altering, chart-breaking, because that puts too much pressure on him. And now that expectancy level, even from a psychological standpoint, it's not fair to Keith Lee, because you're going to have these big old chart-busting expectations, and then he's going to kind of go in with everybody else who they brought in for pops. So that's what I don't want to see, but unfortunately, I kind of think we're going to see that. Vince, what do you think?
Yeah, bro, you don't want to set anybody up for failure that way, bro. I love Dixie to death. I do, but she used to do that all the time. Did. And I used to say, Dixie, you're going to put so much pressure. There's only one way to go. And I hate when they do that, bro. You can't set a talent up for failure like that, bro.
Yeah, I agree. Let's go brawling down Memory Lane, fellas. So Goldberg is in the title picture in 2022, ladies and gentlemen. How about that? 25 years later from being the big guy, the big megastar that he was back in 97 and 98, beating Hogan in July of 98 for the world title, starting his streak in 1997. 25 years later, Paige, Goldberg is still in the title hunt at 56, I believe now, 55. I think he turned 55 recently, a few months ago. 55 years old, Paige, Goldberg still in the title picture. Would you have imagined 25 years later for Goldberg to still be in the WWE title picture?
Not in a million years.
No.
Never would have seen it coming. But you know what Bill has proven? You know, if people would say, well, he was over as hell. He was the guy, but it was a flash. It was a flash. He was in and out. No, not really.
Right.
Because then they brought him into WWE and they pushed him. They put the strap on him, man. They pushed him. Then he went away and then he came back. He's kind of got like this, probably the most wanted spot anyone could ever want would be the one Hogan had or the one Piper had, where they could come on, get that big pop, and right when you were starting to go, boom, they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Come back. And the people love him so much, they give him that huge pop. So Bill's not there for a year run. Bill's there for a pop. And he's going to make great money. Bill Goldberg has made the best money that you can make in that spot. Of course, Brock Lesnar would be like the guy who had the best spot ever. And he earned it by being champion in the real world and in our world. So he's his own animal. But, I would never have thought it would be possible. But Bill has maintained. He's maintained his body. He has maintained his health. And they're never going to keep him out there for 25 minutes. You know, it's like when him and Brock went out there in that WrestleMania, man, they worked maybe 5 minutes, but it was great. So let's see what they do with him here. You know, it's interesting to me, and I wish him all the best, man. I wish him all the best.
Great point there as far as just Bill Goldberg not stepping outside of his lane. People know him to be that clock in, clock out, real quick check in, check out. It's funny because we talk about the wrestling part of things, but it's really about memories. Wrestling is about memories. It's about creating memories. The match that he had at Survivor Series against Brock Lesnar was less than a minute and a half, Paige.
Yeah.
And people talk about that more than any catch-can match that we've seen. So, yeah. Yeah. Paige, what do you think about Goldberg actually winning the championship? Do you think that that's feasible, or do you think that this is just there's no way that we'll see Goldberg winning? And I'll get to you in a minute, Vince.
First of all, you never say never in this business. You never say never, but I wouldn't do that. I mean, there's no reason. Bill's proven. He's been down the run. He's a Hall of Famer 10 years ago, or whatever it was. You know, so the reason he's back is because he pulls ratings.
Yeah.
You know, buy to see him. So that's just proven like, hey, the cat draws. So that's why he's back. If they didn't need him, they wouldn't be bringing him back. So, you know, good for Bill.
Yeah, Vince, you and I, we've talked about Bill Goldberg and just going to that well a little bit too much. And Vince, what do you think 25 years later, would you have thought Bill Goldberg would be in the title hunt? Not just here as a special attraction to come in and come out, but actually be in the title hunt. Would you have thought about it?
No, bro, because I would have thought they would have been past the legends and have the stars of today. But that's the problem, bro. There's such a lack of making stars that they got to keep going to the legends well. But Chris, I think it's what you said. And I mean, you know, you can't do it against the Roman Reigns. Bro, they got to put one of these legends over. You know, otherwise everybody's going to know the outcome every single time. I mean, we got Lita now with Becky. You got Goldberg. Bro, at some point, you've got to put one of these guys over. Otherwise, you're going to know it. It's going to be so predictable that, okay, bro, we need a pop in the ratings. You know, return Kurt. Bring Kurt back. But you got to put one of these guys over, bro. So now there's a chance that when you bring a legend back, they could win the match.
I agree. Go ahead, Paige.
I agree. You know, I think Vince is right. if you're going to keep doing it, bottom line is you brought Edge back, and Edge could really deliver, though. And he had something to prove because he left a lot on the plate there when he left so young. And he came back, and damn, in front of no people, he put on a grueling, beat your body up match, man. Like, I'm blown away. That Edge really, now that's someone you bring back who can really deliver,
I think they have been doing a good job with Edge as far as making him not be kind of bit by the Legends bug. You know what I mean? Because I think nowadays, once you bring in Legends, they're prone to lose matches. Like they're just going to lose. You know what I mean? And I just, Vince and I, we've talked about that many times. It's just the equity and the importance and the stock just isn't there anymore because unfortunately they've created a stigma that they're going to be used to lose. And we're going to see that with Lita, and we're going to see that with Goldberg on the same show. You know what I mean? So we'll see that next week with Elimination Chamber, that they're just going to the well to try to put people over, but those legends are going to lose, unfortunately. Let's land the plane, gentlemen, with the low bro. So Becky Lynch is now big time Bex. Okay, she was once the man, but there's a certain man that says in order to be the man, you have to beat the man. His name is the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Should there even be a fight between the man and the man? Vince, we'll start with you. What do you think about all this chaos, under the scenes going on with, Flair wanting that and just a lot of fighting in between Becky Lynch and Ric Flair over that?
Yeah, bro, I've got two thoughts on this. I got two thoughts on it. The first thing is, bro, you got to understand, it wasn't that long ago, bro, we had this women's revolution. Remember the women's revolution? Remember what Stephanie McMahon did, the women's revolution? So I really have a hard time understanding, with women wanting the equality of man and whatnot and the women's revolution. I don't know why a woman would want to refer to herself as the man. A woman should be proud that she's a woman. That's what the women's revolution was. The second thing is, bro, you know what? The bottom line is this, bro. It's a big blanket, the man. That is a big blanket. However, bro, we're talking about respect here. And even though, did Flair really come up with the man? Well, bro, in wrestling, he really did. And, everybody, when you hear to be the man, you got to beat the man, that's Flair. So to me, if I am a wrestler, I am going to respect that. Chris, I always tell the story that, I wanted to pitch, Rocky Maivia, Dwayne Johnson. I wanted to pitch him The Rock, and I was sitting on it for so long because of Don Morocco. He was Don the Rock Morocco, and I didn't want to show any disrespect. I mean, we all know Flair's the man, and a fellow wrestler, bro, I don't care who it is, you got to respect that, bro. Like that's why, if it were me and Flair were having a problem with this, I would drop it.
Yeah. Hey, your thoughts?
I feel a lot like Vince does all the way through that. And, but I really think, because I was with Nate when it first started. And I think that Nate was a little flattered, thinking that it's just going to be here and gone. But then when she really started to use it, and she made all that money, and let's just say the WWE made all that money on that merchandise, Flair was expecting a kickback. Like, hey, that's my, that's mine, because like Vince said, I mean, there's no one who doesn't know who, when you talk about the man to beat the man, there's only one guy. And he said it a billion times. It would be like taking Muhammad Ali's the greatest of all time. I mean, if I just say who said that, you know. You know? So if you're going to do that, especially when it's in our business, there should, to me, there should have been some kind of taking care of Nature Boy.
Yeah.
You know? And so...
good points. Yeah, good points there.